video, this is day 2 with Mylo. Mylo's here for service dog training, and on this video here, you're going to see me adding to the script, as I call it. I talk about script, I talk about how the methods, how the interaction-based methodology links together when it comes to speaking the right language in terms of changing perception of dogs the right way. So on yesterday, day 1, I was more just kind of starting to get into a routine, starting to establish relationship. Last night was pretty challenging in terms of getting Mylo to agree to the crate. Okay, so again, understand the crate is part of structure. I don't use it to isolate or punish a dog. It's helpful when it comes to advocating, okay, fading into the relationship. It's about control, it's about relationship. So the crate is a very useful tool. So, but here, Mylo was pretty disagreeable to the crate. Last night my sleep was broken up. I had to come out and advocate. Connect up, advocate using, again, that's why we'll use the remote collar to vibrate, okay, to help for a dog to start to be more agreeable. You have to interrupt that state. How the mind is pushing, okay? Dog will start pushing against the crate. So you have to, again, that's something that you need to work on, but gotten much better even over the last bit. So this morning, starting to get even more agreeable. Now here you see, I'm standing here with Mylo, and even here you see him looking up at me. It doesn't have to be looking in my eyes, but you start to see the level of focus shifting. Okay, I'm fading in because my messaging is constant. It's the same message that I'm giving him continuously through this approach. Okay, that I'm in control. It is a type of power play. Understand that once the dog already has a level of control in the relationship, which Mylo does, it's a type of power play. But it's a type of power play that's not meant to create a war, okay? This is about, starting to, just like, a parent moving into a different parenting style and being engaged, interacting differently, but in ways that would be defined as reasonable, okay? So it's all about, Mylo coming into agreement with. And this is why, again, when I'm interacting, the dog understands the intent, okay? I'm not using verbal, commands yet, okay? I go through a sequence. So, as I'm moving, as I'm interacting, based on how I'm moving the leash, how I'm asserting influence, the way I'm doing it, okay, he understands the intent and he's going to come into agreement with it. But, so I'm not trying to, again, this is where the role of influence, I'm not waiting, okay, so I'm proactive in what I'm doing. I'm not reactive, okay, and I'm not bribing him at the same time. Understand there's issues. Once the dog has level of control, you start to use motivators, okay? That is an open door for dogs to continue to hold a level of control based on what that represents, based on where you're already standing in the relationship. You're jumping off point, so to speak. So understand there's depth of relationship. So here in this video, I am going to be adding to the basic script with the down, okay? So I'm going to be putting, asserting influence via the down, okay? Same thing here, he moves out, so I just kind of, move him back in, not in a panic over it, it's, he's going to, have moments where, again, his mind is responding to the integrity of these interactions, okay, very specific. Okay, this is why, again, you want to line the stuff up, so he's right beside me, because this is the position dogs don't want to be in, okay, for reasons like the shadow of the building coming over them, right? So they want to be up front, they want to be a foot or two away from you. They want to stop, okay, the interaction, okay, because they know what you're doing. Okay, it's a type of power play because it takes the path of control, okay, through how you're interacting. So understand here, when I'm doing a down, I know he's going to be very disagreeable to it, okay, but it's helpful to start to interact that way. So understand that when I'm doing a down, I'm not looking at the position. My focus isn't on the position itself. Okay, it's on the interaction part of it where I'm asserting influence. So whether or not he actually is fully agreeable to it, that's not the focus either. Okay, I want him to start to feel it. Okay, I want to start to engage that way because it's helpful too with dogs that are holding a certain level of control, especially for the crate. You start to add some downs on. But be careful when you do this. Understand that when you're doing the down, I'll stay away from this type of asserting influence that way for maybe a day or two Because if you have a dog that is in a high level of conflict or has a lot of control, you want to stay away from trying to launch into putting downs on the dog right away. Okay, you want to, that's a step you want to skip. Okay, so here I'm going to start to move here, Mylo. It's the same type of kind of one-step method. I'm moving here with him, bringing him into position. I'm doing a little push-pull. Notice I am using the choke chain here. I want a little more leverage with him. Push, pull. Now I'm going to do it down right here. And I'm just going to push. I'm locking my shoulder in, so I'm using my body weight to push. I'm not pushing hard. There we go. Very good. And I'm not petting him either for this. Now you see the dog start to roll to their side a little bit. Okay, that's how their mind is kind of responding. So here, having it down, I want to kind of just affirm it. I want him to kind of settle in for a few seconds before I bring him up into a sit. Sit. And when he comes up to a sit, I'm put him back into the sit. Now that was very good, okay, considering this is just day 2, and based on how I'm doing, how I'm interacting that way with the down. Okay, totally different. I'm not bribing him, okay, I'm actually asserting influence, okay, but again, when I do it, I want him to buckle, okay, I want him to be agreeable. So the kind of idea, the concept here, understand when I talk about agreeableness, it's like the tug of war team that collapses. You just kind of see the teams of engaged in the tug of war. You have several on each side. And you'll know that one team's about to lose because you see the front guy start to kind of wobble. Okay, this is kind of how this works here, is based on these interactions, the buckling, the agreeableness part. So influence, it's about depth. I want the dog to truly understand the intent of what I'm doing. Same thing, moving with him here. Little push pull. Same thing here. I encourage you to go watch again. Always, compare the videos, day 1, day 2. Look for agreeableness increasing, even as I continue to add on to the method. Okay? I'm going to do another down here in a second. So right here, I'm going to apply another down. I'm not verbalizing because he understands what I want based on how I'm pushing, okay? I'm doing the same exact interactions all the time. So right here, he understands Dale wants me to be agreeable to a down. There he goes. He agreed to it, okay? Then I release it here a little bit, but I'm still in control. So even when he's down here, I'm still focused on maintaining that level of control. I don't want him up on his own here yet. Sit. A little bit of the pressure to the leash. Now I'll move. See how I just kind of moved forward a little bit too? So if a dog's mind's kind of locking down, and this will happen when they're in a down position and suddenly they go into more challenge, okay, and then you're trying to bring them up. You can move the leash just slightly, just angle a little bit, and it changes the kind of context of how their mind responds to it, and they'll come up. But again, sometimes you don't want to keep doing that either, okay? I'll do that a little bit. There's times I do want to engage the right way, okay? The right way meaning that, totally focused on not using kinetics that way. So there's some kinetic principles I'll apply when I'm doing this for certain moments, okay? So same thing, moving forward here with him. Back into the, again, little push pull. Now, I'm not going to do the down every time, but here, notice I don't want him leaning on me. Okay, I'm nudging him. I want him to, I want to make this really clean. I want to make sure he's right next to me, very, very close. But I want to make sure he's kind of like an island unto himself, okay? It's all about clarity of what the method's doing. So you don't want touch. You don't want to contaminate it that way. This is all about me understanding how he's responding to how I'm interacting. Same thing. Touch, a little push pull, and he's moving around. I'm not going to apply the down here yet. I want him to kind of become a little bit more solid here. Same thing, just moving, push pull. Now I'm going to do the down here again. Notice again how I'm just locking my shoulder in. I'm just pushing. Now here's the thing, I'll talk about this for a second. The reason you want to lock the shoulder in and you want to use your body weight is because if you start to push this way a certain way, it becomes personal, okay? You start to get, because you're using physical force that way, and people become very frustrated, right? It's getting personal. you just lock the shoulder in and just lean in and use your body weight, it's all about the method. Okay, this isn't about getting personal. Okay, this is about method. Okay, this is about you know, what these interactions are doing. So I don't want to tie in my thinking that way. So again, even with a bigger dog, because understand when I'm leaning in, you know, the idea is for him to be agreeable and for his mind to buckle. Okay, it's not about physical force that way, where you're just trying to ram a dog down. That's not good, okay, because you will create higher level of conflict. Or the other way is to bribe the dog down. It's not about positions that way. Okay, this is the right, you know, the right path by way of interactions that are going to get into his head at a deeper level. Okay, this is like having a conversation with a child as a parent, having a certain conversation, but you're properly invested. Okay, so from here, same thing. We'll bring him up. I'll start to apply some leash, some pressure. Here's some influence to the leash. That's my response. See, I just move forward, slide. See, I just move forward, slide a little bit. He pops up. Okay. And, but again, as I start to do this, you know, as it becomes more agreeable, I'll start to add the verbal words on as his perceptions change. Okay. So my goal here on this, you know, day 2 is to start to add some downs onto the basic method. Okay, and keep this going. So this will be happening multiple times today as I do this. Now, here's the thing. Even if he goes into a sit on his own, you still want to push, okay? Because he still needs to feel you as though you're in control. He needs to feel influence. So even if the dog starts to sit on their own, I'm not, you know, taking away influence at this point in the process, okay? He's moving. I still want to put. You still want to be engaging the right way because you're still. It's an intervention, okay? So it's about who's in control. So you still want to be making sure that you're in control that way. Same thing, moving forward. See how I change the leash over the other hand? This hand's available. See that push-pull? I'm going to do another down here. This takes stress off of him. See that? Very agreeable right now to that. That's great. Yesterday I did a down with him off camera, my camera, just to see he's very, very stubborn. Like he did not want to do it. Today, he's already, because again, understand, if I'm coming out, I'm using a remote collar for the crate, I'm doing all those things connect, okay, because it's messaging. So what you do in one area affects the other area, the other interactions. So all the interactions, you know, come together. So here, just give him a moment to relax, because that's what you want. You want a dog just to be able to take a breath, kind of exhale, because the focus here isn't on petting. You don't want to be petting on, even though that can look really good, I can be really happy about it. If I start to pet and reward on him, I'm assuming things that aren't true. Okay? You know, he's already holding control, so he already has a level of stinking thinking. And if I start to pet on him, I'm changing the whole dynamic. Okay? This is about the positive, is to take stress off the dog and work towards a better relationship. I just need to, again, I always go to the parenting example to understand why you don't want to do things a certain way. Okay? Really important, because the key here is leadership. Influence needs to be part of the equation, the way that I show. You don't want to motivate dogs the way that's very popular, because it leads people into assuming things that aren't true. You understand the whole dog training world is based on it. This is totally interaction based. It's about understanding the dog's mind at a deep level, which is what you need to understand anyway. It's the reality of what it is. So from here, same thing. As soon as I, you know, again, want him to come up, you know, start to apply influence to the leash. So right here, at this point here, he understands I want him up. Okay, now his mind's locking in, and then I can make a decision to keep adding more influence to it, or I move this, see I just moved there just a little bit that way, and he just came right up. Because dogs are more just kind of one directional. Okay, you move a little bit the leash, he'll pop up. Okay, but at a certain point, again, you know, I will continue just to go straight up. So I do want to engage him. You know, it is a power play, so you don't want to use too much kinetic that way, because it's kind of like, use a little bit of trickery almost to, you know, manipulate him. So, which is fine to a certain point. Same thing. Want to nail it right in, good push-pull. Bring him around. We'll do one more down right here so you can really kind of see want to get them right, again, before I do that, I want to bring them right in. And again, when you do the down, you want to do the push-pull first, okay? So whenever you do the down, to explain the down properly, again, I want to move my head here a little bit. I want to get him responding the right way. I want to get this kind of locked in. So it's like push-pull first. That drops a couple of dominoes in his mind, and then continue to apply the down, and just see it just makes it so much easier, okay? So the push-pull is influence, okay? Which again affects his state of mind, and it drops a couple dominoes already, and I only have like 2 more to go. And then your hand will already be in the right position anyway for the down, and then you just keep applying more influence, for the down. So again, doing really well. Again, Mylo, beautiful dog. Pit bulls, like I said before, pit bulls tend to get a bad rap because, that the breed typically has a higher level of need. Understand that. So this is why an interaction-based approach is really, really important. If you own a pit bull and you want to avoid any problems or issues with them gaining control, you want to engage the way that I'm showing, okay? Or to reverse the fact that they're already in control, need to adopt an interaction-based approach. Stay away from using treats, bribery, okay, lowering. You hear certain words in the dog training world. Again, bribery, shaping of behavior. Don't think that way. Okay, that's the question. What exactly is shaping? A response that may or may not represent that the perceptions are changing. But to be intentional, make sure perceptions are changing to avoid all the problems associated with this idea of a learning theory, which is basically packaged up as bribery. You want to go to an interaction-based approach. Okay, this lines it up. So for service dog training, my first kind of focus is on focus. Okay, on making sure I'm fading in through these specific interactions, and then I go into phase 2 and 3. I go into phase 2 and 3. That's when, I start to connect dots using a